So let's look forward to the next match, which we'll get to in about 4 minutes' time now. This is a match that I'm actually looking forward to. I am looking forward to it because it's Goonswarm Federation versus Lumpy. So this is another one of these political wars, so political matches that we were talking about earlier on. And I believe I'm hearing in my ear that Mittens will be showing up.
Mittens will be showing up?
Yeah.
Actually flying in the last tournament?
That's what I'm hearing in my ear. If that is the case, oh, yep, they're telling me that is correct. I heard it twice. The first time I heard it, I was like, no way, that can't be true. But yep, it's true. He will be flying.
Wow.
I hope he's done a lot of practicing.
This is gonna either be clipped on Twitch or it's gonna be clipped on Twitch.
Yeah. So I mean, when was the last time the Mittani actually logged into Tranquility? Does anyone know that stat?
He logs in for big timers. So anytime there's a lot of herfing, a lot of blurfing, anything massive, you'll see Mittani come on. He'll get in the main fleet and interact. But actually having to pilot your own ship in the AT is a huge difference. As most people know, or probably know, I was in Goons. I was the main FC in Goons for 8 or 9 years. So I mean, Mittens rarely does this type of thing. So it's going to be really interesting, and he must have done a lot of practice.
We hope so. So we're going to go to the match pretty soon. So let's have a quick round the horn and see who's going to win here. I think Goons have always been unlucky in the tournament. I'm going to back the Goons in this one. Despite the fact that Lumpy Bros are in the kind of coalition that I'm in at the moment, I'm actually going to back the Goons. What about you, Laz?
I can't not back my boys, so definitely going with the Goons. And Asher does have some pretty creative theory crafting, so we'll see.
I suppose that leaves me with the contrarian opinion. I'm going to go for Lumpy. I think the Germans can pull this one out and keep Goonswarm down.
Cool. All right, well, let's go find out and see how Mittens does.
All right, guys, welcome back to Alliance Tournament 16. I'm Elise Randolph, joined by Black Bar Pirate, and we've got a cracker, as the kids are saying. We've got Goonswarm Federation in red and Lumpy in blue. Goonswarm actually being piloted with their leader, the Mittani, in a Navy Augur, Asher Elias in an Absolution calling the shots. And we've also got a Paladin, Armageddon, Vedmak, Vexer, 2 Logi frigates, and a Brutix to round out what they've got. Take me through what the Lumpy team's got.
Lumpy is actually bringing in only DPS team. We're seeing kind of another one of those like Octodad version 2s where we have a Fleet Hurricane, Navy Brutix, Harbinger, Brutix, Ferox, Rupture, Thorax, Vexer, and a Mauler. So lots of damage, not a lot of range, not a lot of repping. Yeah,
both teams have quite a lot of EHP, as you can see on the bars there. Interestingly enough, the Navy Augur, I'm kind of curious as to what setup they're going to use with this one. On TQ, you see a lot of polarized fits with the Navy Augur because it's generally a tanky ship and no one really seems to care about shooting it. But we see some bouncers dropped from the CONDI team right now, and they are going after this Thorax first. They're getting rid of the phallic Galente rush ship that has a lot of DPS. Meanwhile, Lumpy are trying to kite back and kill this Blackbird. That's going to be kind of a thorn in their side if they can get this one down early. It's a huge win for them.
Yeah, Lumpy has actually thrown out a bunch of EC drones on the Blackbird as well, so I think they're trying to make sure that no matter what happens, it's shut down. I think the Blackbird may actually die before the Thorax from Lumpy does. Lumpy is kiting away pretty heavily to try and outrange at least the damage and probably the neuting power. So Blackbird does end up going down first from Goonswarm, and the Thorax seems to not be dying very fast. Okay, he's going down now.
Yeah, so the Lumpy team actually has no logistics, so that's something to point out. So, you know, as this match goes on, it's more Goonswarm favored. And unfortunately for Lumpy, the Goonswarm team has quite a lot of EHP. They got that Blackbird down, and they're going for the Vexer now, which is a great call on that one. But the longer this match runs, the harder it's going to be for them. And we see a Brutix from Lumpy has been singled out and tackled, and he's going down with the quickness.
Yeah, he's going out quite quickly, especially for what appears to be a halting Brutix. And, you know, Lumpy they will kill that Vexer eventually, but they're trading DPS ships for pretty much a tackling ship and an ECM ship right now.
Yeah, so this Vedmak piloted by Wild is actually going to start ramping up some DPS pretty quickly. It is right in the fray here, charging towards what looks like the Brutix Navy issue. Also shooting this Rupture as well, which is going to go down really quickly. And now Lumpy are going for the morale victory right here. They're going to try and kill the Mittani. They've got him scrammed. They've got him webbed. They're going to try and take out the leader for a morale win here. But man, oh man, Lumpy are getting massacred right now. Thorax already down, Rupture about to go down, Brutix already down, and this Harbinger is getting neuted out, so its effectiveness is going to be pretty poor pretty soon.
Yeah, it looks like they actually switched over to a Brutix. I think that maybe they were trying to trick the reps onto going on to the Mittani instead, but realistically, Lumpy needs to try and get those logistic ships of Goonswarm down and then, kite them out with their superior DPS, but at this rate, I mean, they just killed the Brutix, but they might trade a Navy Brutix for it, which is never a trade you want to do.
Yeah, the Navy Brutix will be hull tank, so it'll go down pretty slowly, but this Paladin and the Armageddon is able to nude it out, so it doesn't really matter if it lives or dies. It's not going to be able to fire its weapons. That's something we didn't really point out before. This Geddon is quite a lot of control. It has very strong newts, and it's something that these battlecruiser hulls are very susceptible to, especially this Harbinger. Obviously, the Hurricane doesn't care if it has a cap or not, but this Harbinger needs a lot of capacitor to fire, so this Geddon really does control how much it can fire. As we see this Vedmak kind of going down on the Goonswarm side. The Thalia and Deacon, one of the Deacons does have ECM drones on it, so it might be jammed a little bit. Oh man, that Vedmak just got chunked down really, really hard. A good shot in coming from this Harbinger, I guess. And this Vedmak's probably going to drop.
Yeah, and even with the 2 logistics frigates, I mean, logistics frigates aren't particularly powerful, and Lumpy still has a ton of damage on field. They still have 4 battle cruisers, and so they are able to take the Vedmak down even through the reps, and they haven't really been losing anything. Like, they might trade a Mauler for it, but things could be switching over to Lumpy's favor here.
Yeah, the Goonswarm side needs to get some control on these battle cruisers. Hopefully they don't kite around. As you see, the Mittani's Navy Augur is actually getting plinked down. He was not brick tanked at all. He's taking quite a lot of damage. The Thalia and Deacon aren't able to keep him up. He is entering structure right now. Let's see what Goons can get for a trade for it. They have to get something for this Navy Augur. And no, they're not going to get absolutely anything. Lumpy is kiting away. The Mittani is down in the Navy Augur. Goons are just left with a brick Paladin, a brick Geddon, and an Absolution. And Lumpy are going to go after Astro Elias and the Absolution right now.
Yeah, and the Thalia from Goonswarm isn't actually repping anybody right now. I'm not sure if he's out of range or if he's just running around, but that Absolution is going down really quickly as well. And while it is one of the more tanky ships that you can bring, they appear to have used it mostly as a damage ship. And, we've traded now several DPS ships, and maybe the Fleet Hurricane will finally go down, but Lumpy is just straight up out-piloting by kiting away from everything.
Lumpy's back. Lumpy took that Absolution down. Astro Elias got chunked down by these battlecruiser hulls. There's just a Navy Harbinger and a Ferox left. This Fleet Hurricane looks like it's going to die pretty quickly. He is trying to run away, but he's getting neuted. He's running. This Paladin can't really apply any of this damage to him. He's surviving in half structure here, and Goons are wasting a lot of time. They've got bouncers and sentry drones trying to hit some things. They've got some light maintenance bots as well, trying to keep some of their team alive. It's just a matter now if Lumpy can survive with their lead right now. If they can just kite away, there's no way Goonswarm team can catch them.
To be fair, if the Fleet Hurricane does die, Goon is going to get ahead in points again, so it's also possible that Lumpy might not actually be able to finish this off. Well, the only DPS ship that Goonswarm has left is the Paladin, potentially the Geddon drones, which I think they actually left way too far away to do anything. The Paladin has such good projection that he's going to be able to hit the Fleet Hurricane pretty much no matter where he goes.
Oh, it's a disaster. The guidance whipped to Berserkers, and the Berserkers are on the Lumpy Hurricane Fleet issue. He's going to go down to drones, and Goons are going to claw this one back.
Yeah, he figured out that his drones could not shoot from that far away when they're only Tech 1, and there goes the Fleet Hurricane. So now Lumpy has to kill something on the other side. But they're going for the Thalia, and they're actually doing a pretty good amount of damage to it. I believe that they're far enough away that the signature tank of the small logistics frigates is probably not saving him. And while logistics frigates are pretty strong, one of them is not going to be able to rep another one through 3 battlecruisers DPS.
Okay, so there's a swarm of EC-300s on Daquan, the Deacon, the pair for the Thalia, and so he's not able to rep his friend. River Geist is going to go down, and then Lumpy will be back with a 1-point lead. A fragile 1-point lead, but crucially, the Harbinger has been singled out by this Geddon. This Harbinger is now going to die. The Goonswarm team is not crumbling under the pressure. They're getting kills. They've got 3 minutes to kill this Harb. It's going to go down. There's no way he's going to be able to live this one unless he MJDs away right now, or unless the Lumpy team focuses on the drones, which I don't think they're doing.
Yeah, the only chance the Harbinger has is that if he can make it to that MJD beacon, which he's not really that close to, but he is relatively... There is a chance, and I think that just because the only DPS ship is the Paladin, his haul may hold long enough. I do see that he is neuted, but you can also see that he's clearly MWDing around, so he might be able to actually kite out long enough for that other Deacon to die. Once the other Deacon's dead, Lumpy may be able to actually kill the Armageddon in time.
It's so hard though, because this Geddon really neutralizes the effect of all of these ships if he can get his newts on. This Harbinger gets chunked even lower. He's trying to run away. They're trying to kill these drones that the Geddon has pulled out. This Deacon, piloted by Quan Shawa, is kind of entering structure, but he's moving. He's a pretty small target. And the Harbinger goes down. The Harbinger is down. Goons take the lead back. They had a 1-point deficit, and now they're up. So Lumpy, they have to kill this Geddon full on. They have to all in on this Geddon and get it dead. But if they get in range of the Geddon, they're probably going to lose a ship as well.
Yeah, and you know, unless one of the battleships decides to boundary, it's going to be very difficult. Like you said, the news from the Geddon alone can shut down both the Navy Harbinger and the Ferox. And while the Deacon is probably going to go down, as it looks like it just got tackled by the Vexor, I don't think that that's going to matter. Both of those battleships are worth so many points that you're going to have to really, really go through the 2 tankiest targets on the team with about a third of your DPS.
All right, so as we were saying, as this match goes longer and longer, the Goonswarm team does have an advantage because the Geddon newts kind of just eventually give them the suck. So much so that these ships can't do much. They can't fire their weapons. They can't run their tanks. They can't MJD or MWD. So this Navy Harbinger piloted by Lumpy is going to slowly go down while this Geddon is just going to live. There's no way a Ferox and a Rupture can kill this Geddon in enough time.
Yeah, and the Geddon does appear to have some damage on it itself. It looks like it might have rapid heavy missile launchers, so it's not a full Newt Geddon, which in this specific instance is actually way worse for Lumpy, since between the 2 battleships, like, they're going to be able to easily kill Navy Harbinger.
Yep, and we do see the Geddon is also smart bombing as well, but you can see, crucially, the Berserker 1s from the Geddon, the Tech 1 Berserkers, have caught up to this Harbinger Navy issue. And now that it's neuted, it can't really do anything. It's probably got a small injector, so it can kind of burst MWD, but it's not going to be enough. We see Lumpy trying to react by throwing EC300s onto the Geddon, but there's no way it's going to be enough here, as this Harbinger is about to go down, and Goons are going to come up way ahead in a back-and-forth match that kind of, it was on a knife's edge the entire time.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they kill this Navy Harbinger, like, you'll have to get rid of both battleships from Goons to win. So, you know, really good attempts by Lumpy. They flew really well, they piloted really well and spread out, but it looks like Goons are actually going to take this. Yeah,
Goons, you know, the Mittani just brings that moral boost for the Goons, and they're going to see this one through. Really back and forth. You know, Goonswarm is not a team with a lot of tournament pedigree. So the fact that they had this win against what's many people consider to be probably a better team, though I think it's wrong to consider Lumpy a better team. Lumpy probably have more pilots that are better at Alliance Tournament type fighting. But you know what? Goonswarm, they do it.
Yeah, the morale officer of having the Mittani on was able to push them ahead in this match.
All right, and that's it for us. Goonswarm take this 83-59 over Lumpy. Lumpy is relegated to the elimination bracket. Goonswarm go on through the winner bracket, and we're going to send it back to...
Goonswarm Federation there taking a very hard-fought victory over Lumpy to go through to the next round of the winners bracket. I don't remember this happening before. I've got one question for the guys in the studio here. Goonswarm Federation, are they the new Pandemic Legion AT team? Question mark.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I think Asher has proven his worth as the 23rd best FC in the Imperium.
Yeah. So this is it. This is when PL falls off and we begin the Goonswarm Federation era of the Alliance Tournament for the next 10 years or so. It starts now. You're all part of it.
The rise of the bees, indeed.
The rise of the bees. Interestingly, on our prediction with people online submitting, only 333 people predicted Goonswarm. The last few matches, the victor has usually been predicted by around 800 to 1,000, but only 330 people got it right. Possibly Goon Alts.
The true believers.
The true believers.
They never lost hope.
Yeah, that was genuinely, I think, one of the best matches we've seen today.
Like, yeah, really close.
Yeah. Like, it went both ways. I remember, like, at one point, Goon started to, like, fall a little bit behind, and then Big Art J was like, oh no, it looks like Lumpy's going to take this, and then they started to just claw it back, and they just, that Harvey that was just holding on for so long, and they just kept doing it, and great match.
I think my favourite part of that was the massive amount of discussion just in this studio about like, is the Mittani bait tanked or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, we must have debated that for like half the match. All we were like is like, yeah, but they just put the Mittani in like the tankiest ship possible, right?
Yeah.
And he's doing stuff and we're like, he's actually moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
Did they just fit him with like all heat sinks because they think that they're going to think he's bait?
It's the double mind game.
Yeah,
it's like,
I love it.
They think that we'll just bait tank him, so we'll put no tank on him and extra damage, and then see if they shoot him. And
it worked.
He lived to win for ages, and then his team carried it forward. Goonswarm Federation, victory over Lumpy. Well, goddamn done. I'm proud of you guys. But let's just roll things back a little bit to the match before, the Goonswarm Federation versus, who were they playing? I've completely blanked.
Lumpy.
Lumpy, that's correct, yes. So we talked in the studio here about, is the Mittani going to be bait tanked, or is he going to be double bluff, no tanks, full DPS mods? And we can answer that question now by looking at the kill mail of the Mittani in his Navy Augurer, and we find that they have polarized pulse lasers. So going full all out, absolutely all out. Interestingly, 4 heat sinks. I mean, Suetonia, talk me through what we're seeing here.
This is crazy. I don't know why he has 2 fitting power grid rigs. Does he actually need that to fit it? Maybe.
I mean, does the Mittani have any skills on TQ is the real question.
This is pretty crazy though. With 4 heat sinks and polarized, I think he can put out like 800 DPS if he's on top of someone.
Yeah, it's just going to be absolutely vomiting DPS onto somebody. And this is the perfect example of how to meta your way into a victory in the Alliance tournament. You just have to make your opponents think that you're going to do one thing and then do the exact opposite. And that's exactly what's happened here. They've made everyone think, hey, if the Mittani's on field, he's going to be bait tanked because, I mean, everyone's going to want to shoot the Mittani, so we'll just bait tank him up. And they've thought that the other team will think that, and they've done the exact opposite. The mind games, I mean, sometimes you risk outplaying yourself, but in this case, it's worked really well for them, and I believe there's a few more kill mails from that we can look at later on. But sometimes, and just to bring things real for a minute, sometimes we here at Eventy get accused of bias. We get accused of being perhaps aligned with Pandemic Legion or other teams such as that. We are completely and utterly impartial, as this video will truly demonstrate of Nash Cadaver, head of Plus 10 Gaming.
This would be like one of the best matches.
Oh, it's gonna go!
Why is Lumpy not shooting fucking drones?
It's gonna go! Oh, yes! Come on, bitches!
Video that. Pull out the street later. Come on, bitches!
Truly an impartial organisation. So, any other highlights from that particular match?
Yeah, I believe we were talking about Ash's fit, which I'm not sure we have just yet, but...
Yeah, I know the team upstairs are building that kill mail in our lovely tool to show it up, and I think it might be ready now. We can throw that up on the screen as well. This is the absolution of Asher Elias, the FC. Also polarized pulse lasers and just heat sinks and tracking. I mean, you got to hand it to Goonswarm Federation here. They have outplayed everyone by just bringing polarized everything. That's incredible. I tip my hat to them. That's just fantastic. And I mean, Bart, why don't you tell us what's the big deal about polarized weapons? Why are we so hyped about this?
Well, if you put a polarized weapon on any ship, it makes the resistances of it go to 0. So a ship like an Absolution, which actually has a resistance bonus, completely loses that bonus. A ship like a Navy Augur, which is traditionally known as being extremely tanky, now is not as tanky. However, polarized weapons, they do, I want to say like 15 to 20% more DPS. So both of those ships have a ton of low slots because normally they're considered super tanky. You put polarized weapons on them, now they're still relatively tanky just because of the amount of armor they have, but they do way more damage, and they're also both the kind of ships you'd think, oh, those are the tankiest ships on field. Why would I shoot that? They kind of figured out a way to be like, why would you shoot it? Haha, I have 1,000 damage per second Absolution fit. And they also put it on their, the team captain and the captain of Goonswarm as a whole, because they knew it's like, these are the 2 people that they'll be like, oh yeah, we can't have any shot at those. They're the tankiest ships, they're gonna be repped. We'll just ignore them. They just turn them into massive DPS boats.
Yeah, I mean that's the sort of the PL play, is to like win the game in the meta game, not necessarily execution. And Goonswarm just did that perfectly. Like I think that's my favorite match of the day in general, and also because of this.
Then Rupture, highest DPS, lowest tank. Then possibly, then well, British, yeah, I guess. Hurricane Fleet issue we want to go after because we can't need it out and can't jump it.
Okay, so DPS primary is Thorax.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Going to move forwards or backwards or what?
Forwards.
Okay.
They're going to come to us anyway.
Vexer will grab the Thorax first.
20 seconds.
Yeah. Here we go.
Hardener's on.
Boost up.
Boost up.
Turn off your second boost, Ren.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, I'll DPS on the Thorax. He's running away. They're going to kite. Okay, we need to go in there and get tackle.
What do you want?
Grab that Harbinger if you can. It's close. Grab the Harbinger. Let's kill the Thorax first, though. The Thorax and the Harbinger are closest. Let's get those. Like, grab that. Yeah, grab that. Grab that Brutix. It's actually closest. We can get that next. Grab the Brutix. Grab the Brutix. Grab the Brutix.
Azure needs reps.
Let's approach the Brutix. Let's approach the Brutix. Keep shooting the Thorax if you can.
Azure needs reps. Blackbird's down.
Blackbird's down.
Okay.
Targeting
finish the Thorax. Finish the Thorax. Then we'll go for the Brutix.
Go down.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Finish the Thorax. Then we'll go for the Brutix.
Los Mars is jammed in the Vexer. No tackle on the Brutes.
Burn to the Brutix. Burn to the Brutix. Let's kill it.
HFI is Artie.
Reload charges. Reload charges. Hurricane Fleet and Rupture's looking at
Rupture's on the guys.
Rupture's autocannon.
Rupture will be next. Rupture will be next. We're getting the Rupture next.
Brutix webbed.
Los Half Armor.
Kill the Brutix.
Get Rope drones to Los.
Shoot me.
Let's see if we can kill those. Let's see if we can kill those. Bomb off those drones off our Deacon, please. Kill the Brutix, and then we'll go for the Rupture. Now, do we have tackle on the Rupture? Need tackle on the Rupture if we can get it.
Going for the Rupture now.
Okay. Get Rep drones on those mortars.
Go down.
Get Rep drones on them if you can. All right, let's go for the Rupture.
Vexer down.
Yeah, I got you. Next will be the Hurricane Fleet issue. Yeah.
Ren is taking damage. Ren's taking damage.
Ren and Mittens are taking damage.
Okay. Let's get this Rupture, please.
Rupture's going.
Get Logi drones to Ren. Logi drones to Ren.
Next will be British Navy. Next will be British Navy. It's close. Let's go for the British Navy.
Activate boost. Activate boost. Activate your second
Thank
boost
you.
now.
Let's go for the British Navy. Let's go for the British Navy.
Logi drones to Ren if you have them.
Someone can tackle on.
Oh.
Okay.
I got tackle on the BNI. Got tackle on the BNI.
The British Navy. Okay, let's go for the Hurricane after the BNI. All right. Yeah, looks like the British is. Yeah, looks like he's the whole tank. It's not surprising. Ren, what did you lose?
Brutix.
Okay. That's good.
Logi drones to Wild. Logi drones to Wild.
Yeah. Don't burn out any guns.
Watch your drones in heat.
Yep. Watch your burn. Watch your burn. All right,
Logi
let's
drones
go.
to Wild.
Let's go for the Hurricane Fleet next. Let's go for the Hurricane Fleet next.
The Harbinger wasn't doing very much damage. It was the Harb
Okay.
Navy, Ferox, Brutix
Let's go.
Navy.
Yeah, let's go for the Hurricane Fleet now.
Harb Navy is beans.
Okay.
That Hurricane Fleet's a good ways off.
Yeah, we don't really have a better target, really.
I've got the
I've got the Mauler.
All right, let's go for the Mauler. Switch to the Mauler. Switch to the Mauler. I'm changing my mind. Switch to the
Watch your
Mauler.
drones in heat.
Yeah, pull your drones. Pull your drones. I'm just gonna hit the smart bomb. Take him out.
Don't forget, if you bury down, you lost males.
Pull your drones. Pull your
Pulling
drones.
them. We're catching wild a little bit here. That's good. All right, someone go tackle the Hurricane Fleet. Let's see.
And Bedmex out. Bedmex out.
All right, get ready for Jones in the next primary.
Logi drones to Mittens. Logi drones to Mittens.
I don't think so. I think that's smart bomb. No, maybe
They're
not.
the wrong mittens.
All right.
They're on Mittens.
Mittens, heat your guns. Mittens, heat your guns. Okay. Now we're burning for the Hurricane Fleet issue. Props on. If you can do a cycle heat, do it. Let's go for those Hurricane Fleet issues.
That Harb Navy's right behind you. He's away from everyone, so ignore him.
Okay. All right, Min's down.
Mitten's down.
That's fine.
So Asher, Miter, and Ares are the only thing we have left for DPS.
They're going for me now. They're going for me now.
Logic drones to Asher if you have them.
Jig may be up here, boys.
Watch Igor drones and heat.
Harbinger's coming back in.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. I'd finish the Hurricane Fleet, and then if we can tackle the Vexor or the Harbinger, get that next.
Ares, you're going to have to call target.
Primary is Hurricane.
Veterans on my deck.
That Harb Navy is sneaking in behind you. Keep an eye on it. Deacon, you need to approach one of the battleships to get them ECM drones bombed off.
How's the Hurricane Fleet doing? 5 minutes left.
Holding that hole. Well, not holding, but going down very slowly.
Okay.
Kicking out my heavies.
Yeah, heavy drones. Make sure your heavy drones are on them. Put your heavy drones. Yeah.
And you've got a lot of red drones on you.
Put your rep drones on me, rep drones on Reaver.
Rep drones on Reaver.
Your secondary will be Harbinger.
Yeah, they're just going to try and spread and get this out. I think we can take this. If we can kill this Hurricane and the Harbinger, we got it.
4:30 left.
Kill the fleet Hurricane, we only need to tank. We win on points.
How low is the Hurricane Fleet?
Deacon Jen? It's almost done.
Lodge drones for Reaver. Lodge drones for Reaver.
They're putting ECM drones on the
Primary Harbinger.
Harbinger.
Are we ready to blow those ECM drones off, Reaver?
Go for the Vexor for the point. Go for the Vexor for the points.
Yeah.
Roger. Going for the Vexor.
That Harbinger is now in armor as well.
Harbinger will die much faster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go for the Harb. Go for the Harb. Go for the Harb.
Harbinger is just speeding up now.
I'm gonna die here.
Kwana, are you in GM yet?
I'm
on.
Oh, shit.
Reaver down.
Yeah, you gotta get the Harb. Gotta get the Harb. He's in low armor.
Rep drones on Quan? There's no more rep drones.
Burn away. Just try and kite them out if you can. Hit the beacon. Use a beacon. Use a beacon if you can, Quan.
Yeah, do the Harb. Get the Harb. If you can knock it off, get just overheat.
Pulling the ECM drones off you, Quan.
Come on, Harb.
ECM drones are not a problem on Quan right now.
Yeah.
If he's jammed, it's not a problem. We need to keep him alive.
Quan's running away to
ECM
beacon.
drones up to the Paladin.
Quan, make sure you don't boundary. DPS primary?
3 minutes left.
Harbinger.
What's he at?
He's low hole. Just he's in hole. You can just keep shooting.
I'm smart bombing. Trying to get rid of ECM drones.
Okay.
I have to.
Get the Harb. Come on, get away. Overheat. And
Your secondary will be Harbinger Navy.
Quan, just make sure you overheat your reps.
He's doing his best, dude. He's doing.
Okay. Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Harbinger's almost done. Harbinger's almost done.
He's down.
Harbinger Navy.
2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Harbinger Navy.
I think we're up on points right now.
We are up on points.
All right. Keep on the Harb Navy.
And Quan will not get it. They have to kill a battleship.
Yeah. The Harbinger, the Navy Harbinger is in armor.
Just entering armor.
Quan, get back down to Miter.
Looks like he's
2 minutes.
Quan done.
Okay, you did your job. Quan. You did a great job.
Yeah. 2 minute warning. 68 to 59.
They have to kill a battleship to win. If we kill the Harb Navy, even one battleship won't do it.
They've got a Harbinger and a Ferox and a Vexor left, so you guys are doing good. Doing good.
Pull your light armor maintenance spots if those are ours, and then bomb those East Hornets off now.
Is that Harb Navy in your
Navy Harbs and structure?
Yeah, Navy Harbs are going down.
Miter, go ahead and cycle your smart bomb. Kill those ECM drones. Your light armor maintenance spots, they don't matter.
Roger.
If you have DPS drones, now would be the time to throw them out.
He has them on him.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Ferox jumped. Ferox jumped away, like he's just trying to not die.
Yeah, we're in hole on the Harbinger. Nice.
All right,
Get him neutered.
Meta, you can flip it off now. You can flip off your smart home.
Ferox, is that getting in range of your nuke?
Those acolytes are smart. Good job.
60 seconds remaining. 60 seconds remaining.
I'm letting them shoot me because I've not even ran my rep yet.
Little hole in the harbor.
Well, don't bother bait tanking them. Just use your repper.
Yeah.
Less than a minute.
45 seconds.
On reload with the.
Good job, guys.
Hang on. What's the harbor Navy at?
Harbor Navy's
He's almost down.
He's out. Get him once.
Burn back the center. As soon as he dies, burn back the center. Do not boundary.
Approach the beacon. Approach the beacon.
30 seconds.
Now. Yeah. Burn the beacon as soon as he dies. He's trying to make you boundary violate, I think.
Approach the beacon now. Just start approaching the beacon now.
No, you're very safe inside there, but pull back.
Yeah,
to
20 seconds.
There's plenty. You're not close, but just there's no reason.
If you have heat on the Harbor Navy, 15 seconds. See if we can kill him.
It's down.
He's down.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yes.
We got this. We got this.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Approach the beacon.
Approach the beacon.
You can drop the GFs in the local. All right.